The massive ship of the Galactic Dominion moved slowly through the darkness of space. Inside, Commander Zar Thol looked at the small blue planet on the main screen. After years of traveling across the stars and meeting many alien species, the Dominion had become very good at finding new worlds to add to their territory. "What do we know about this planet?" Zar Thol asked his science officer. "It is called Earth by the natives. The planet has large oceans of liquid water and a thick atmosphere. Our scans show billions of life forms, including one intelligent species that has basic space travel and electronic technology," the science officer replied. Zar Thol nodded. This was normal. Most new species they found were not advanced enough to fight back against the Dominion's superior technology. The Dominion, made up of 17 different alien races, had a simple way of dealing with new planets: offer them protection in exchange for resources and obedience. "Send a small team to observe them more closely," Zar Thol ordered. "I want to know their strengths and weaknesses before we make contact." On Earth, Jack Miller sat at his computer terminal at the NASA tracking station in Nevada. The night shift was usually boring, but tonight something strange was happening. The computer was picking up unusual signals from space. "Hey, Susan, come look at this," Jack called to his boss. Dr. Susan Wright walked over with a cup of coffee in her hand. "What is it now, Jack?" "These signals aren't normal space noise. Look at the pattern." Jack pointed to his screen. "It repeats exactly every 3 minutes. That doesn't happen naturally." Susan frowned and put down her coffee. "Run it through the analysis program again. It's probably just a glitch in the system." Jack did it as she asked, but the result was the same. "It's not a glitch. Something is up there, and it's not one of ours." Within hours, more tracking stations around the world began picking up the same signals. Government officials were woken up in the middle of the night. The president was informed. Military forces were put on high alert. But the Dominion ship was careful. It stayed hidden behind the moon, sending only small scout ships to observe Earth from a distance. The scouts used technology that made them almost invisible to Earth's primitive radar systems. 1 week after the first signals were detected, the International Space Station reported seeing a strange object near their position. Captain Lisa Bauman was the first human to actually see the alien ship with her own eyes. "Houston, I can confirm there is an unidentified craft approximately 500 meters from the station," Lisa reported, trying to keep her voice calm. "It's like nothing I've ever seen before." The alien ship moved closer to the space station and sent a message in perfect English. "People of Earth, we come in peace as representatives of the Galactic Dominion. We wish to establish formal relations with your world." The message was broadcast to every television and radio station on Earth. Panic and excitement spread across the planet. World leaders gathered for an emergency meeting at the United Nations. What the humans didn't know was that their every reaction was being carefully studied by the Dominion observers. Their communications were being intercepted and analyzed. Their military bases were being scanned from orbit. The Dominion representatives finally landed on Earth 2 days later, choosing an open field near the United Nations building in New York. They looked almost human, but with gray skin, large eyes, and 6 fingers on each hand. "We offer Earth protection and limited access to our technology," the Dominion ambassador told the gathered world leaders. "In return, we require access to your natural resources and your agreement to follow Dominion law." The offer seemed generous to many, but some humans were suspicious. Why would such an advanced civilization be interested in Earth? Unknown to the Dominion, humans had already started working on ways to defend themselves. Military scientists were studying the alien technology from a distance. Computer experts were trying to hack into the aliens' communication systems. The humans were not as helpless as they appeared. And the Dominion was about to learn a very important lesson about underestimating Earth. 2 weeks after the Dominion ships arrived at Earth, their leaders received a strange message. It came from a species called the HFY, who had once been part of the Dominion, but had left many years ago. The HFY were known for their ability to see things before they happened. The message was simple but troubling. Earth is a trap. The humans are not what they seem. Retreat immediately. High Consul Vornax of the Dominion read the message several times. He did not believe it. The Xilari had always been afraid of new things. They worried too much. What do our scans tell us about these humans? Vornax asked his science team. The lead scientist brought up images of humans on a large screen. They are physically weak compared to most species we know. Their technology is very basic. They still burn fossil fuels for energy. They have only sent a few people beyond their own planet. They fight among themselves over land and resources. Vornax laughed. And we are supposed to fear them. The Xilari are being silly again. He called a meeting of the Dominion Council to discuss the warning. All 17 representatives of the member species gathered in the main chamber of the flagship. The Xilari claim Earth is dangerous, Vornax told them. But our own research shows humans are primitive and weak. They pose no threat to our plans. The Council agreed to ignore the warning. They would continue with their standard approach, offer protection and some basic technology in exchange for Earth's rich resources and human obedience to Dominion law. Meanwhile on Earth, scientists were making interesting discoveries about the aliens. Dr. Alan Parker worked in a secret government lab studying samples of alien material collected from their landing sites. "Look at this under the microscope," Alan said to General Olivia Green, who had come to check on his progress. Olivia looked through the microscope at a sample of alien skin cells mixed with Earth bacteria. The alien cells were breaking down rapidly. "What am I seeing?" she asked. "Their cells have no defense against our bacteria," Alan explained. "Common bacteria that live on our skin and in our air can make them very sick. It's like they've never been exposed to anything like Earth's microbes before." Olivia thought about this. "So they're vulnerable to our environment." "Very vulnerable," Alan confirmed. "Their bodies are not made to live on Earth. It's too dangerous for them. They need special suits and air filters just to walk around here." This information was quickly shared with other world governments. Earth's leaders began to see that they had advantages they hadn't recognized at first. The Dominion continued their diplomatic efforts, unaware of what humans were learning. They requested meetings with all major Earth governments. They offered to share some of their technology for space travel and clean energy. But they also demanded access to Earth's minerals, metals, and water. "We will allow some humans to visit Dominion worlds," the alien ambassador told the United Nations. "Those who prove themselves useful may even become citizens of the Dominion someday." Many human leaders found these terms insulting. They did not want to be treated as a lesser species, but they smiled and pretended to consider the offers while secretly preparing for a different outcome. Earth's military forces started working together in ways they never had before. Scientists from enemy nations shared information. Spies worked together to gather intelligence about the Dominion ships. The humans discovered that they could sometimes intercept and decode Dominion communications. They learned the aliens were planning to build large mining operations in Africa, South America, and Australia. They also planned to establish permanent bases on the moon. The Dominion thought they were in control of the situation. They believed humans were primitive creatures who would be grateful for their advanced technology and protection. They did not understand yet that Earth itself was their greatest enemy. The planet's gravity, bacteria, and weather were all hostile to Dominion life forms. And the humans who evolved on this dangerous world were much stronger than they appeared. 1 month after the Dominion arrived on Earth, both sides were learning new things about each other. The aliens were surprised by many things they saw on the blue planet. Steve Rogers was chosen to show a group of Dominion scientists around a human military base. Steve had been a Navy SEAL before becoming a liaison with the aliens. He was strong and fit, even by human standards. During the tour, a heavy equipment box fell from a shelf. Without thinking, Steve caught it with one hand and put it back. The box weighed over 200 pounds. The aliens stared at him with their large eyes. "How did you do that?" one of them asked. Steve looked confused. "Do what?" "Lift that container with one arm," It should be too heavy for a being your size. Steve shrugged. It's not that heavy. I guess I'm just used to lifting things. What Steve didn't know was that most Dominion species came from planets with much less gravity than Earth. Their muscles were not built for Earth's strong pull. What seemed normal to humans was amazing to them. The aliens were learning other surprising things too. Many of them were getting sick. Their environmental suits couldn't keep out all of Earth's microscopic life forms. What humans called the common cold made several aliens very ill. Dr. Karen Taylor was working with the alien medical team. She explained the problem to them. Your bodies have never had to fight off our germs, she said. Humans have evolved with these bacteria and viruses for thousands of years. Our immune systems know how to handle them. Yours don't. The head alien doctor looked worried. Are you saying Earth is full of invisible dangers to us? Karen nodded. To you, Earth is essentially a planet-sized biological weapon. Even our friendly bacteria can be harmful to your people. This news troubled the Dominion leaders. Their species had evolved on cleaner, safer worlds. Earth was wild and dangerous in ways they hadn't expected. Humans were also stronger than they looked. They could endure pain, heat, cold, and injury better than most Dominion species. They could run for hours without stopping. They could go days without sleep when needed. And most concerning of all, humans seemed to enjoy taking risks. They climbed mountains for fun. They jumped out of flying machines with parachutes. They raced vehicles at deadly speeds. These humans are crazy, one Dominion officer told Commander Zarthal. They do dangerous things for entertainment. It's like they don't fear death. Zarthal was starting to understand why the HFY had sent their warning. Humans were not like other species they had encountered. They had evolved on a world that would kill most alien life forms. Meanwhile, humans were learning about Dominion technology. They studied the alien ships whenever possible. They analyzed the materials in alien tools and weapons. Human scientists worked day and night to understand how the advanced technology worked. The Dominion believed humans were too primitive to understand their science. They thought it would take humans hundreds of years to learn what they knew. They were wrong. Human scientists made breakthroughs every day. They figured out how the alien communication systems worked. They began to understand the principles behind the Dominion's faster-than-light travel. They even started to reverse engineer some of the simpler alien devices. Earth's governments kept these advances secret. They smiled during meetings with the Dominion. They pretended to be grateful for the small technological gifts the aliens offered, all while preparing for the day when the Dominion's true intentions became clear. What neither side realized was that someone else was watching them both. The Void Collective, a group of ancient machine minds, had been observing the situation with great interest. They had their own plans for both the Dominion and Earth, and they were ready to make their next move. 6 months after the Dominion arrived on Earth, something unexpected happened. A small ship entered Earth's orbit without warning. It did not belong to the Dominion or to humans. The ship requested permission to land at the main Dominion base. Inside the ship were 3 members of the auxiliary species. They were tall and thin with pale blue skin. Their eyes were large and completely black. They moved with a strange grace, as if they could see a few seconds into the future. The auxiliary asked to meet with both Dominion and human leaders immediately. Their request was urgent. Everyone gathered in a large meeting room at the United Nations building. Ambassador Thelinar of the auxiliary spoke first. We sent a warning that Earth is a trap, but you misunderstood our meaning. Earth itself is not the trap. The trap was set for Earth. The room was silent. No one understood what the auxiliary meant. Please explain, said the human representative, Frank Johnson, who was the U.S. Secretary of Defense. Thelnar's black eyes looked around the room. There is another power in our galaxy. They are called the Void Collective. They are not living beings like us. They are ancient machines with their own intelligence. Commander Zarthal of the Dominion looked worried. We have heard stories of such beings, but we thought they were just myths. "They are real," said Thelinar, "and they have been working in secret for thousands of years. They fear what humans might become in the future." "Us?" Frank asked, surprised. "Why would advanced machine beings fear humans?" "Because of all the species in our galaxy, humans have the most potential to defeat them someday. Their prediction systems show this clearly. So they created a plan to stop humans before you could become a threat." The Xelari explained that the Void Collective had manipulated both the Dominion and Earth. They had sent false signals that led the Dominion to find Earth earlier than they would have naturally. They wanted the two sides to fight and destroy each other. Frank shared some information that confirmed what the Xelari were saying. Earth's computer experts had found strange patterns in the communications between humans and the Dominion. "Someone has been changing our messages," Frank explained, "making both sides sound more aggressive and unreasonable than we really are. We thought it was the Dominion doing it, but now we see it was this Void Collective." Just as he finished speaking, all the screens in the room turned on by themselves. They showed images from space. A large group of ships was approaching Earth. They looked different from the Dominion ships. They were black and shaped like spiders, with long arms extending from a central body. "The collective has arrived," Thelinar said quietly. "They grow impatient with their plan. Now they will attack directly." The Earth's defense systems detected the incoming ships. Alarms sounded across the planet. Military forces went on high alert. "How many ships are there?" Zar Thul asked one of his officers. "At least 300, Commander. More than the entire Dominion fleet in this sector." Zar Thul turned to the humans. "We have been foolish. We should have listened to the Xelari warning. Now we face an enemy that wants to destroy us both." Frank Johnson stood up. "Then we need to work together. The Dominion has advanced technology. Humans know how to fight against bad odds. Together, we might have a chance." Zar Thul nodded. "You are right. The collective expects us to fight each other. Instead, we will join forces against them." The Void Collective ships would reach Earth in 3 days. It was not much time to prepare for the biggest battle in human history. But for the first time, humans and the Dominion were on the same side. The trap had been set, but not in the way anyone expected. With the Void Collective ships approaching Earth, humans and the Dominion worked quickly to prepare their defenses. Both sides realized they needed each other to survive. Commander Zar Thul addressed a room full of human and alien military leaders. "The collective is powerful because they can predict what most species will do. They analyze patterns and calculate the most likely response to any situation. So we need to be unpredictable," said Nicole Foster, a tactical analyst from Europe. She was young but brilliant, with new ideas that often surprise her older colleagues. Nicole pointed to a map of the solar system. "The collective expects us to defend Earth directly. What if we don't? What if we evacuate our most important people and equipment to Mars, then use Earth itself as a weapon?" The room was quiet as everyone considered her idea. It was bold and risky, but it might work. "What do you mean by using Earth as a weapon?" Zar Thul asked. Nicole explained her plan. The Dominion had technology that could affect gravity. Humans had nuclear weapons. If they combined these technologies, they could create a gravity wave that would disrupt the collective ships. "It's dangerous," said Chief Engineer Paul Martins as he looked at the technical details. "We've never tried anything like this before, but our normal weapons won't work against the collective ships." Over the next 2 days, humans and aliens worked side by side. Space shuttles and Dominion transports carried thousands of people to Mars. Scientists set up equipment on Earth to create the gravity weapon. The Void Collective sent messages to Earth, trying to create doubt and fear. "Your new allies will betray you," they told the humans. "The Dominion has destroyed hundreds of worlds," they told the aliens. But the alliance held firm. Both sides had seen enough evidence of the collective's lies. On the 3rd day, the first wave of collective ships entered Earth's orbit. They were black and silent, moving with perfect precision. Their weapons were like nothing humans had seen before. dark energy beams that twisted space itself, causing matter to implode. 3 Dominion ships were destroyed in the first attack. Earth's orbital defenses were hit hard. The situation looked bad. Then something unexpected happened. Captain Linda Rice was in command of a small, experimental Earth ship called the Defiance. It had been upgraded with some Dominion technology, making it faster and stronger than standard human vessels. Linda saw a pattern in the way the collective ships moved. They always kept a certain distance from each other. They never crossed paths. Their movements were perfect, too perfect. They're using algorithms to coordinate their fleet, Linda told her crew, which means they can't handle true randomness. Linda did something no computer would predict. She flew her ship directly at the largest collective vessel, accelerating to full speed. The collective ship tried to avoid the collision, but Linda adjusted her course in ways that made no logical sense. She was flying on instinct, making split-second decisions that no algorithm could anticipate. The Defiance passed through the collective ship's energy field, scraping against its outer hull. The contact created a strange reaction. The collective ship's systems went haywire. Its weapons fired in random directions. Then it began to fold in on itself, collapsing into a small, dense ball of matter. Their weapons use predictable physics, Linda reported back. But they can't handle chaos and randomness. This discovery changed the battle. Human pilots began performing maneuvers that defied logic and training. The collective ships couldn't predict what the humans would do next. Meanwhile, on Mars, Nicole and Zarthol activated the gravity weapon. Earth's magnetic field began to pulse with energy, creating waves in space that disrupted the collective's communication network. For the first time in their ancient existence, the machine intelligences felt something new. Uncertainty. Their perfect predictions were failing. Their coordinated attacks fell apart. The battle for Earth had only just begun, but humanity had already found the Void Collective's weakness. As the battle continued, more Void Collective ships arrived in Earth's solar system. They adapted their tactics, trying to counter the unpredictable human pilots. But each time they created a new strategy, humans found a way around it. The Dominion provided their advanced weapons and shields to protect the remaining human ships. In return, humans shared their creative battle plans and their willingness to take risks that the Dominion would never consider. On Mars, scientists from both species worked to improve the gravity weapon. Each pulse from Earth disrupted more of the collected ships. But it wasn't enough to win the battle completely. "We need to strike at their command center," said Commander Zarthol, pointing to a massive collective ship that stayed at the edge of the battle. "That ship is coordinating all their attacks." "But it's too well protected," said General Olivia Green from Earth's United Defense Force. "We can't get close enough to attack it directly." A young Dominion engineer named Krelvin had been listening quietly. Now he spoke up. "What if we don't attack from the outside? What if we attack from within?" Everyone turned to look at him. Krelvin explained his idea. The collective used quantum signals to communicate between their ships. These signals connected all their systems together. If we can send our own signal through their network, we might be able to plant a virus in their command systems, Krelvin said. Dr. Alan Parker, the human geneticist who had studied the aliens' biology, had also been working on computer systems. "It's possible," he said. "But someone would need to get close enough to one of their ships to connect to their network." Captain Linda Reyes, who had discovered the collective's weakness, volunteered immediately. "The Defiance can do it. We've already proven we can get close to their ships and survive." The plan was risky. Linda and her crew would fly directly into the heart of the collective fleet. They would connect to the quantum network of one of the smaller ships, then upload a computer virus created by human and Dominion programmers working together. If they succeeded, the virus would spread through the entire collective fleet in seconds. It would shut down their weapons and navigation systems, leaving them helpless. If they failed, the Defiance and its crew would be destroyed. Linda prepared her ship and crew for the mission. The Defiance was given extra shields and the special equipment needed to connect to the collective's quantum network. "This is a one-way trip," Linda told her crew. "I won't order any of you to come with me." Every crew member stayed. They knew the stakes. If they didn't stop the collective now, Earth would eventually fall. And after Earth, the Dominion worlds would be next. The Defiance launched from Mars with a small escort of Dominion ships. They flew toward the main battle, where hundreds of human and alien vessels were fighting against the collective fleet. As they approached, the other Allied ships created a diversion, drawing the collective's attention away from the Defiance. Linda piloted her ship through the chaos of battle, dodging energy beams and debris from destroyed ships. "There's our target," Linda said, pointing to a smaller collective ship that had been damaged in the fighting. Its defenses were weakened. The Defiance accelerated toward the damaged ship. Collective weapons fired at them, but Linda's unpredictable flying made them hard to hit. The few shots that did connect were absorbed by their enhanced shields. They'd reached the collective ship and attached to its hull. Krell Vin, who had joined the mission as a technical advisor, connected their systems to the collective's quantum network. "Uploading the virus now," he reported. "Estimated time to complete, 3 minutes." The Defiance shook as the collective ship tried to dislodge them. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. Their shields were failing. "We need more time," Krelvin said. Linda made a decision. "Divert power from life support to the shields. We only need a few more minutes." The air in the ship grew thin and cold, but the shields held. The virus upload continued. The fate of Earth and the Dominion hung in the balance. The crew of the Defiance struggled to breathe as the life support systems ran at minimum power. Outside, the collective ship was trying to shake them off. Warnings flashed on every screen. The shields were down to 20%. "Virus upload at 85%, Krelvin reported, his voice weak from the thin air. "Just a little longer." Linda looked at her crew. They were all fighting to stay conscious. Some had already passed out. She made another difficult decision. "Divert power from engines to life support," she ordered. "We'll need our brains working to finish this mission." Without engine power, the Defiance could not escape after the upload. It was truly a one-way trip now. As the crew gasped in the returning air, the ship shook violently. The collective vessel had started to tear itself apart, trying to remove the Defiance at any cost. "Upload complete," Krelvin shouted. "The virus is in their system." On the main screen, they watched as the virus spread across the collective network. Ship after ship lost power. Their perfect formation fell apart. Some crashed into each other. Others drifted aimlessly in space. "It's working," Linda whispered. "We did it." But the Defiance was still attached to a dying collective ship. Without engine power, they could not escape the coming explosion. Suddenly, their communication system came to life. "Defiance, this is the Dominion vessel Light of Dawn. We're coming for you. Hold on." A Dominion rescue ship appeared, flying straight toward them despite the danger. The Light of Dawn attached itself to the other side of the Defiance and pulled with all its power. With a grinding sound, the Defiance broke free from the collective ship. The Light of Dawn dragged them away just as the collective vessel exploded behind them. Back on Mars, everyone watched the battle on large screens. They cheered as they saw the collective fleet falling into chaos. The virus had worked better than anyone had hoped. It didn't just shut down the collective's weapons, it made the ships attack each other. Nickel Foster hugged Zarthol in excitement, then stepped back, embarrassed. The Dominion commander smiled at her. "Your people have taught us much about courage," he said. As humans and aliens celebrated together, High Consul Vornax of the Dominion watched with new understanding. "The Xilari were right," he told his advisors. "Earth was a trap, but not in the way we thought. Once you engage with humans, you cannot help but be changed by them." The Void Collective made one final effort to win. Their command ship launched a powerful energy beam aimed at Mars. It would have destroyed the entire planet and everyone on it. But something unexpected happened. A maintenance worker named Doug Wilson was the first to see the beam coming. He was outside the main base, fixing an air recycler. There was no time to warn everyone. The beam would hit in seconds. Doug ran to the main power station and shut down the protective shields. Then he redirected all power to a single point, creating a focused energy pulse that shot up from Mars to meet the collective's beam. The two energy streams met in space. There was a blinding flash of light. When it cleared, both Mars and the collective command ship were still there. The beams had canceled each other out. Doug had saved Mars, but the power surge had killed him instantly. When news of Doug's sacrifice reached the command center, both humans and aliens stood in silence. He wasn't a soldier or a scientist. He was just a regular person who did what needed to be done to save others. High Consul Vornax finally understood what made humans different. It wasn't their technology or their fighting skills. It was their spirit, their willingness to sacrifice for each other and for what they believed was right. The battle continued, but the tide had turned. The Void Collective was losing for the first time in their ancient history, and they were losing to a species they had tried to eliminate before it could become a threat. 3 years after the Great Battle, Earth had changed in ways no one could have imagined. The planet was now part of a new alliance called the Galactic Union. Humans worked side by side with many alien species, including their former enemies from the Dominion. The old Dominion no longer existed. After seeing how humans fought against the Void Collective, many alien species wanted to change how things worked. The strict rules about which species were considered advanced enough for full rights were thrown away. Now all intelligent species could join as equals. Ben Howard stood on the stage at the new Galactic Union headquarters in Geneva. As Earth's first ambassador to the Union Council, he was going to give a speech about the battle anniversary. 3 years ago today, the Void Collective thought they could destroy us by bringing humans and the Dominion together. Ben said to the crowd of humans and aliens, they believed we would fight each other. Instead, we found something amazing: friendship between different worlds. The large room was filled with representatives from over 30 planets. Some looked almost human. Others were very different, with extra limbs, unusual skin colors, or bodies made of materials humans had never seen before. But they all listened with respect. The collective was right to fear what humans might become, Ben continued, but they were afraid of the wrong thing. They feared we might become violent conquerors. Instead, we became builders of peace. After the battle, humans had shared their technology and ideas freely with their new allies. In return, alien species taught humans how to travel between stars and how to heal their damaged planet. Earth was greener now than it had been in centuries. The oceans were cleaner. The air was fresh again. With alien help, humans had fixed many of the problems caused by pollution and climate change. Human ships now explored distant stars. Human scientists worked in labs across the galaxy. Human music, art, and stories were popular on many worlds. And humans had given something important back to their allies: a new way of thinking. The ability to take risks, to try new approaches, to break rules when the rules didn't work. After Ben's speech, he met with former Commander Zarthol, who was now a close friend. They walked together in the gardens outside the Union building. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out this way?" Ben asked. "When your ships first arrived at Earth, did you think we would end up as friends?" Zarthol laughed. "Never. We thought you were primitive beings who needed our guidance. We were so wrong." "You weren't completely wrong," Ben said. "We did need help. We just needed to be treated as equals, not as children." Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent message. Strange energy readings were coming from a distant galaxy. The pattern looked familiar. It might be the Void Collective regrouping. Ben and Zarthol hurried to the command center. Representatives from a dozen worlds were already there, studying the readings. "If it is the collective returning, what will we do?" asked one of the newer council members who looked nervous. Nickel Foster, now the head of the Union's Defense Department, smiled confidently. We'll do what we always do, work together. Last time, we barely knew each other and still won. This time, we're prepared. Ben looked around the room at the diverse group of beings. 3 years ago, most of these species had never met each other. Some had been enemies for centuries. Now they stood united, ready to face any threat together. The Void Collective had tried to use Earth as a trap to prevent humans from reaching their potential. Instead, they had created something they feared even more. A united galaxy where humans and aliens worked together, combining their strengths and overcoming their weaknesses. As plans were made to investigate the new threat, Ben felt strangely grateful to the collective. Without their attack, humans might have remained alone in the universe for many more years. Sometimes, he thought, the greatest traps can lead to the greatest freedom.